Shalom Bracha from Yerushalayim. We have begun last week to discuss specific customs relating to parashiyot. And we started with Bereshit, and we went through Lech Lecha. And before I continue, I did want to correct an omission. I failed to mention in Parashat Bereshit a very important custom that we have. This custom is that when the first Oleh goes up to Sefer Bereshit, Parashat Bereshit, the Koreh, before saying Bereshit bara Elohim, after the Oleh makes the Berachot, he will begin B'simanat Haba, Bereshit bara Elohim. If the Oleh himself is reading, like we find often in Hatan Bereshit, then the Oleh will say the Beracha of the Torah, and then he will begin to read B'simanat Haba, Bereshit bara Elohim. This has always been the custom in our community throughout all the synagogues and all the countries where the Halabiya are. There are other communities which feel that it's not proper that the Hazan stops before Bereshit with the words that are not from the Torah. They'll have the Somech or a third party say B'simanat Haba. It's not our custom. Our custom is clear that the Koreh himself says B'simanat Haba. Moving on to Parashat Noah, I did mention that in Knis Ades in Yerushalayim, we stopped the Shishi at Ufaru v'Rabu ala Aretz. I got some comments that in New York and Argentina, they stopped Vayal Olot B'Mizbeach. And that's fine, and that is the custom. I think it's important to point out, and now's a good opportunity, that it's reflected also in the Tikkun, this great Tikkun they just put out, Birkat Abraham, that there are variations. And the variations, they put them at the end of the Tikkun. But the point is, different Hachamim had different approaches and maybe chose a different Shishi. And it's all fine. It's not set in stone. The idea was that the Shishi would be of 3 Pesukim or 4 Pesukim and end with the Beracha. And so the framework should be followed. In the particulars, they can vary. It's not the end of the world. Okay. Parashat Lekh, we did Parashat Vayera, and here I want to spend a moment on the makam of Parashat Vayera, which is makam Noah. Unfortunately, in the last few decades, makam Noah has been falling into disuse in the New York and Deal communities, and it's very, very sad. It's very sad. It's a beautiful makam with very classic tunes. And it's the makam that we use for Friday nights. Kabbalat Shabbat and Arabit, Lel Shabbat, there's always makam Noah. And I understand that that's even being discarded in favor of Nahwan, which is sad because it's so unique to the Syrian community, and it should be continued. If the people are not familiar with the tunes, well, let's educate ourselves onto these tunes. If the Hazanim are not familiar with praying, maybe they came from Israel, they're not used to praying Noah, well, they have to teach themselves and practice into singing. Now, when I was growing up, it was a pleasure to hear the Hazanim sing all of the tunes in Makam Noah, and there's some of them are from the Bakashot, and others we have in the tunes that are in the Pizmonim book. So I urge everybody to keep this beautiful custom alive. Vayera, the Shishi ends generally in Beyom Yigamel et Yitzhak. And Parashat Hayesara is Makam Hajaz, which is perceived as a sad Makam. And the reason is that Abraham and Sarah both pass away in this Parasha, so we sing Makam Hajaz. Now, even though some, if you know, it's sad Makam, it's not proper to sing it on a day that we have occasions in the synagogue. That's not the case. As Joey Mosseri mentioned in a very recent video, we do not change the scale under any circumstances, regardless of how many occasions there are on Shabbat and the Knis. The scale of the parasha, there's a reason behind it, and we continue saying it. There's only one exception, and that is if there's a Brit Milah in the synagogue on that Shabbat, the scale of the Shabbat will be used, but in the Hazara, they will change it right before an Akdishach so they can sing a Ta'ahubi and then promptly go back to the makam of the week. Hayesara, the Shishi is generally Asara Zahav Mishkalam. When Abed Abraham is giving the jewelry to Ribka, that's generally the Shishi that is used. Parashat Toledot, There's Makam Mahur, which is a higher rust, beautiful tunes that most people are very familiar with, that we sing on this Shabbat. The Shishi is the Pesukim, that are the blessings that Ishaq is giving to Yaakov, thinking he is Esav, and it ends with Barechecha Baruch Kol Tuv.